Hey everybody, Joanna here, and in this video I want to talk about the dangers of burnout and my experience with that. As you can tell, I'm got some music in the background this time. Hopefully I don't get a copyright claim for that, but it's something that helps me deal with my anxiety, which lately it's been pretty bad. In terms of the burnout, what is burnout exactly? I mean, you hear about it from time to time, but nobody really talks about the dangers of it, so I want to cover that here in this video and talk about how destructive it can be. So what happens, you have a job, maybe you're taking on extra hours at work for whatever reason. You have financial goals you're trying to reach. Maybe you have a side hustle, or you're working two jobs, you know, whether you're a single mother or you're, you know, middle class or whatever, and in the midst of it all, amongst the rat race, it could be very easy to get lost in that. So over time, you know, you become more and more exhausted, and finally gets to the point to where you don't do any of the fun stuff that you enjoy doing anymore, and you start to withdraw from family and friends, and you become increasingly withdrawn, and which leads to depression, you know, anxiety, you know, irritability. You're not sleeping as much at night. You find yourself, you know, looking for ways to escape that, trying to numb yourself with online gaming, you know, with alcohol, with drugs, whatever the case, and really it's not very healthy. You know, if you have a mate, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, domestic partner, whatever, they may start complaining that you're not spending enough time with them, and you know, they may try to nudge you into coming out and spending time with them more, and you know, maybe y'all get into arguments over that sort of thing. So yeah, it can become pretty destructive, and you know, you find yourself doing dumb things that are completely out of character for you. You find that you're suddenly not handling these things as well, and so it's little mistakes, you know, you blow them off, no big deal. No, but sooner or later it's going to blow up into something big. So it's something you really have to take seriously, and you know, and your overall happiness just kind of goes away, and yeah, I mean, sooner or later, this big thing's going to blow up. You're going to do something incredibly stupid, and it could cost you, you know, friendships. It can cost you your job. Your career could be totally destroyed by it, or, you know, at the very least, have some big black mark on it, you know, simply because you push yourself too hard. And you know, if you're like a nurse or a doctor or EMT, something like that, it's harder to stay away from the burnout because of the long, demanding hours and whatnot. But you know, sometimes, you know, you see these financial goals. Like in my case, as y'all know, who've been watching my videos, you know, I'm a truck driver. I have a little bit of flexibility in how long I could work, as long as I put in a minimum of 8 hours per shift. You know, I could either go home at 8 hours, or I can stay 10, 12 hours, whatever. Well, over the past year and a half, I've come across these financial education videos. I started educating myself, like stocks and crypto and all this kind of stuff, and I started seeing what is possible, and seeing how quickly I was able to build up a nest egg for myself. You know, obviously I still have a ways to go, but I did way more in the past year and a half than I thought was possible. And I just became really excited about that, and so it's working longer hours, making more money, and then you hear about things like about the wealth income gap, the wealth gap getting wider over time, and then you've got these douche canoes, these companies who are buying up houses just for the sake of renting them out again. Like, for example, I mean, there's one company out of Canada, CEO was doing an interview, and the guy who was interviewing him was asking him about this. It's like, my God, you're buying like 800 homes per year, or per month rather, just to rent out here in the U.S. It's Canadian now. Asked the CEO of this company, what about people who want the American dream, who want that typical house in a middle-class suburban neighborhood, white picket fence and all that? And he actually had the nerve to say, oh, well, that's okay. Hey, you can rent the American dream. I'm like, what? Seriously? You asshole. Oh, you can rent the American dream, eh? A lot of these millennials, they don't want to buy homes because they like the idea of just renting and not having to worry about property taxes and maintenance, and it's like, give me a freaking break. Meanwhile, on the same in the same show, these millennials saying that they want to buy a home, they've got really good credit and all that, but they can't do it because of assholes like that, and it's scary. I was like, this keeps going on and nothing is ever done about it. I could easily see this becoming a renter society. Someday is going to get to the point to where nobody will be able to buy anything. They won't be able to afford it because of all the ultra wealthy people and the corporations buying everything up. So it's just a renter society. And what's the problem with that? I mean, don't get me wrong, in some cases it makes more sense to rent, because if you don't know what you want to do, if you know for a fact you don't want to be in a certain area for 5 to 7 years minimum, then it might make sense to rent. But the problem with renting versus buying a home is, over time, as inflation goes up, the rent is going to go up. 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, the rent is going to be higher than it is today. And as opposed to buying a home, as soon as you get your mortgage, you lock it in, your payment is not going to change unless you refinance your home. So, I mean, right there, you have built-in inflation protection just by buying a home, even if it's just a condo or a townhouse, because maybe you live in a place where housing is incredibly expensive, like on the West Coast, for example. It's built right in. So if you're renting and you can't afford to buy a home, you're just basically at the mercy of these ultra wealthy people who own all the freaking property. So all this combined, with the excitement of what's possible, it caused me to kind of push myself more. And I kind of come from a family of workaholics. I'm part German, so that probably doesn't help. So I just kind of found myself working more and more hours, just kind of got used to it. Increasingly getting tired. I started telling myself, oh, that's okay, I'm used to being tired. It'll be fine. And doing things like putting on music to make the time go by faster. And it made the time go by faster, but then it also caused me to kind of tune out the fact I was so friggin' tired. And I was that person. I was getting more and more withdrawn from family and friends, and depressed and drinking, blah blah blah. I didn't get into the drugs, I don't do that crap. And yeah, finding myself doing stupid crap because of the brain fog, feeling stupid about it, and then finally when I got to that edge, I had an epiphany. I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell am I doing? I don't, because it didn't feel like myself anymore, and it scared me. So I had to take a step back quick and kind of reevaluate things. And I called my fleet manager and told him, hey, I've got severe burnout I need to address. I need this week off. And he says, okay, yeah, no problem. And I've been home ever since. I've been sleeping more, and it took a couple days to recuperate some, and then I started going out and doing the things that I was doing when I first moved out here. All the stuff I enjoyed before, just going for walks. Even in downtown Seattle, even as bad as it's been getting, well, not quite downtown Seattle. It's like Queen Anne, for those of you who know the area and all that. And I'm feeling a lot better, feeling happier. I'm actually feeling like myself again, which is great. And I guess what I'm saying is I just came to the realization that I had forgotten what was important, and all this, I just kind of lost all of that. And the point is, you got to take time out for yourself. You got to take care of yourself. It's like, and you're building a future for yourself. You're building up this house of cards, and that foundation that's holding that up is you. If you don't take care of yourself, you start suffering from burnout, that foundation is going to become cracked, and it's going to collapse. That foundation being you. And if you collapse, you being the foundation of this, the whole house of cards falls apart. Because you're the one who's working the job, making all the money. You're the one who has the good credit, hopefully, or you're building your credit at least. You're building a future for yourself. And if you have people who depend on you, like I have, the fairy godmother, Lanessa Falana of Seattle, who is in my corner, who is kind of relying on me. So it's not just about me, it's about her. It affects her. It affects my friends who live with me, who's paying rent and all that, because, they're counting on me to keep a safe living environment for all of us to live in and all that. And it's just not worth it. I had to slow down. Had to go back to doing the things I enjoy, being myself again. Eventually go on road trips, go hiking and that sort of thing. And now doing YouTube. That's one of the major things that's kept me off of YouTube. It's because I just felt like I didn't have the energy or the motivation to do this. Takes a lot out of me just to do that usually. As you can see, I'm still awkward in front of the camera, but I'm getting better at it. Why am I so awkward in front of this thing? I couldn't tell you. I don't understand everything about myself, all my little quirks. It just is what it is, I guess. But the thing is, you gotta you be kind to yourself and all that, because what if you're pushing yourself to your limit for so long and you die of a heart attack or a stroke, which is you're going to be at a much higher risk of that by pushing yourself so hard than you are if you don't. And if you pass away before reaching your goals, then what's the point? Then it's all for nothing. even if you do reach your goals. After years of doing this crap, you know, you're going to be so wore out, so broken, disabled, that, okay, great, you have a nice house, you got a nice car, you've got all this money, so you never have to worry about money ever again, but you can't enjoy it now. You know, you can't go travel the world, you can't do hang gliding or whatever the heck it is that you've always wanted to do. So then what's the point? And when you die, you can't take it with you. So it just goes to show that life is about the journey. It's about the experience, not so much about the destination. You know, the destination is just a perk. You know, so you got to enjoy the here and now, and live the experience. So that way, if you do die, something happens to you before you reach your goals, at least you have that. It's like you're building a legacy for yourself, and you know, what are people are going to remember you for when you're gone? You know, that sort of thing. And you know, that has a lot more value to it than all this other crap. So I just kind of want to share that with you. Anyway, yeah, I hope y'all are doing good, and you know, and good luck to you and all that you do. And just remember to love yourself, be kind to yourself, and don't push yourself too hard. Because, you know, one day, you know, you might get to the top of the mountain and, you know, feel like you're the GOAT, but then you look around and there's nobody left because you've pushed them all away, or, you know, whatever reason you can't enjoy the things, and try enjoying those things alone. I mean, it absolutely sucks. I mean, if you don't have people around you, what's the point of it all? You know, the rat race is real. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Love y'all. Take care.